thank you, Dr. Wasil, for this initiative always trying to help the community.
And congratulations to Dr. Tarun Wasil for this release today. And Healthy Triad. And it's what you have to eat every day and routine work to procure from the different type of diseases. So I really appreciate.
Healthy Triad has walked in and this Dr. Rai, despite all the hurdles, he has been able to raise this occasion and also bless us for this occasion.
He's a mentor for millions of us.
I would highly recommend all the people not just to buy for yourself, but buy for your friends, family. Tarun Wasil is not only just an excellent physician, but he's also very great community leader.
There's a lot of progress that has been made in cancer. A couple of disclaimers before we start. If a person has a diagnosis of cancer, and unfortunately it's increasing, and you will see a lot more cancer in this world at this point. But if the person has a diagnosis of cancer, we can add what I'm going to talk about it, but standard of care treatment must be adhered to. Must listen to your oncologist. We can do everything right, unfortunately still end up having a cancer. Lifestyle modification can help decrease the chances of cancer by about 40%, not 100%. So there are caveats to that. There are some people who do everything bad in their lives and still go up to 100 plus years without having any problem, but those are rare. We shouldn't look at those examples and we should not make them our ideals. So I'm a contributor to a study, nutrition study, so I'm a little bit biased about this. This is not a new concept. We have known about this. Ayurveda has told us, Hippocrates told us, and the Chinese, they all told us that in fact, some of them used to write exercise or nutrition on their prescription pad and give it to the patients. So there are some studies on that. Just to talk about cancer a little bit, we know that it is increasing. It is increasing in young people. It is increasing in vegetarian people. It is increasing in vegan people. So we see that all the time, that patients come and they say that, oh, I'm a vegetarian, lifelong vegetarian, how did I get it? It's not, they are not immune, and I'll show you actually all vegetarian food is not good. All vegan food is not good. They can be ultra processed foods and refined sugars, which are killing us these days, it seems like. So cancer is increasing, and as I said before, 40% of the risks are modifiable. This is in the United States. You can see that cancer is increasing in some of the common cancers, such as breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. They are all increasing. And people are living longer because of all the advances that have taken place in the last 60 years in our knowledge about the cancer and the molecular biology and targeted therapies and immunotherapies, you name it. There are so many advances, and thanks to all those brilliant scientists, as well as the patients, as well as the investigators who have helped us come to this point. So that's why I'm going to tell you that if the patient has a diagnosis of cancer, please follow all the recommendations from the oncologist. And you can add these healthy triad related issues or things with that. So this was a study done in Boston, and there's increasing risk of cancer in young people, and it seems like genetics, which we always used to think that in young people maybe it's genetics. Only 10 to 15% of the cases are genetics related, but vast majority are related to ultra processed food, refined sugars, and low grade chronic inflammation, which we'll be talking about in a few seconds. These diseases are linked to chronic low grade inflammation, and you can see that it's a spectrum of diseases. So if you can somehow prevent or decrease these habits, you can impact on all these diseases. Starts with, seems like, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, cardiovascular problems, neurodegenerative disorders, and cancer. They are all in the same spectrum. So there's we have known about lifestyle modification and heart disease for more than 50 to 60 years. But unfortunately, I guess we are all busy in our own work-related issues, and we don't pay attention. And all these diseases, I think we can prevent to a large extent. But again, everyone wants a magic pill more than doing something. So these are some of the things that can cause obesity, and visceral adiposity can cause chronic low-grade inflammation. Being physically inactive, just watching TV all day, having or eating ultra-processed food, and other things are just related to this. And chronic persistent CMV infection, which I was surprised that is also a cause of chronic low-grade inflammation. And we can decrease viral infections just with exercise and good food. There are so much data on that. And this is the unhealthy trio. It's basically, if you are not doing any exercise or sitting most of the day, chronic stress and poor nutrition. I think chronic stress remains underappreciated most of the time because it's very hard to study, but it all causes chronic low-grade inflammation, and it has effect on our cells and our genes. It causes actually increased DNA repair, increased DNA damage, decreased DNA repair. It shortens the telomeres, and also it results in immune dysfunction, which we'll be talking about a little bit in the future. And it basically adds with each day we do these wrong activities or unhealthy trio-related events, and then it triggers disease or causation of the disease. This is the healthy triad which I'm proposing, that if we can do some kind of stress relief measures, we can adhere to nutrition, good nutrition, which I'll elaborate in a few seconds, and also stay physically active. Physical activity doesn't mean that you have to run a marathon. It's basically some kind of physical activity and exercise, and this can reverse the chronic low-grade inflammation and result in prevention of some diseases at least. And we know from the epidemiological and observational studies that vegans and vegetarians have low rates of cancer. There are certain tribal areas in Africa, some parts of Japan, and the 5 blue zones. Some parts of some ethnic groups in India, Jain community in India, if they are still adhering to their old style, nutritional patterns and lifestyle. But we have seen that when these patients or people migrate here, or they go to Western type of diet in their own countries, within 10 to 15 years, they are predisposed to all the diseases which we are here in North America. These are the 5 blue zones of longevity where people are living 90 to 100 years. They don't have all the diseases which we get here. They are living healthier lives. So there's a term coined called health span more than lifespan. Yeah, we want to live longer, but we want to live healthier and longer, not just longer, because if we are spending, say, last 10 years of lives on multiple medications and also suffering from certain symptoms all the time, that's not the kind of life which we are proposing. We want people to live longer as well as stay healthier during that period. We talk about smoking as one of the risk factors, but you can see just being obese or overweight is next to it. So we talk about smoking bans and everything, but if we don't eat right, if we do not have close to ideal body weights, that's a very big risk factor. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you that when you put aging, because aging is one of the major risk factors for any cancer and any disease, if again we do not have healthy aging, that's a problem. So we can use this healthy triad to have somewhat healthy aging and prevent a number of diseases, including cancer. These are again showing the same thing. Aging is by far the most important factor. So what I'm proposing in my book is also that a balance between the following three factors, and it's a triad: chronic stress versus mindfulness or purposeful life, which Dr. Rai has led, nutrition, unhealthy versus healthy, inactivity versus exercise. So coming to chronic stress, I had written a book 4 or 5 years ago on mind-body interactions and chronic. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. So it was on mind-body interactions, and chronic stress again is very, very underappreciated, and it can cause so much damage. You can see where it can come from. These days the chronic stress comes from just being in traffic every day. It's pretty bad. The goals which we have in front of us on a daily basis, academic achievements, family issues, toxic environment at work, toxic environment at home, all these can cause even loneliness and homelessness, and as well as economic insecurity. These can all cause chronic stress, and it does damage our cells. And I'll show you here. There are two pathways how it works. Actually, there's a field of social genomics for last 20 years, which is studying all these issues related to loneliness, PTSD, and a toxic environment at work or home. And it goes through two pathways. One is the HPA axis, and the other one is sympathetic nervous system. And it basically increases the cortisol, increases the norepinephrine, increases the epinephrine. All these are bad hormones, and they cause, again, chronic low-grade inflammation. And here it is showing that the good immune cells, they decrease, and the bad immune cells, they increase. And on the left side, people who know about microRNA chips, they have studied for last 20 years. They have so much data on this that there is a set of genes which are related to chronic inflammation. They go up with chronic stress, and those that are preventive, such as antibody forming genes, they get down regulated. So this is a photo from the original paper they had published several years ago. So this is the proposed model. Again, the message is that chronic stress damages our immune system, damages our cells, damages our genes. And if we, on the left side, there's a chronic stress related damage, and on the right side it shows that if you resort to some mindfulness techniques, you can reverse that damage. Coping with stress, there are many different ways. If we can resort to several of these or some of these, and we can have a good night's sleep, that can decrease the chronic stress as well as the damage caused by this. Simple things such as physical activities, good night's sleep, breathing exercises, meditations, prayers, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, Reiki, massage therapy. All these are supposed to help us relax, and these are some of the benefits of mindfulness. Again, these are all illustrated in the book. Coming to exercise, physical activity, and cancer or chronic disease, this is the second component. So physical activity is when we are doing regular chores, doing housework, office work, going from one place to the other, casual walking, going up and down the stairs up to a few steps. And exercise is a structured physical activity, so which means that you have to do a lot of movements and sustained movements in a way to increase your muscle activity. These are some of the pictorial cartoons showing that there is regular physical activity, then there is low intensity exercise, and then there is moderate intensity as well as high intensity. Now, there have been studies done that just going from being totally physically inactive, there was a study from Copenhagen. They did. They took one office employee. Actually one set of office employees and made them inactive. What they did was they told them, do not do more than 2,000 or less than more than say 1,500 steps a day. Do not use the stairs. When they came to the office, they told them you'll have a valet parking. You don't have to go to the parking lot. Whenever they needed water or tea, they just raised their hand and everything came to their office, to their desk. And with that, just with 2 weeks of that inactivity, they saw visceral fat increase, glucose went up, insulin went up. So it was very, just 2 weeks of inactivity can cause so much problem. So just from physical inactivity to physical activity, there's a big benefit. And then there's a smaller increment if you go from physical activity to, say, low intensity exercise, moderate intensity, and high intensity exercise. High intensity interval training is probably the best, but not most of us cannot do it. Dr. Kalra can. These are 14 different cancers associated with obesity or just being overweight. So smoking causes 12 different cancers. Just being overweight, 14 different cancers. Regular alcohol drinking, which means 2 drinks every day, that kind of drinking causes 7 different cancers. And these are possible pathways. Exercise can help fight cancer because it has effect. Again, the message here is all the good immune cells, they go up or get upregulated, and the bad immune cells go down with exercise. There are several dozen myokines or chemicals made by the movements when we do exercise. These are called myokines. IL-6 has been a chemical which we always talk about when we talk about inflammation. But during exercise, it goes up. It decreases TNF alpha, which is the most dangerous chemical. And so it helps, actually. IL-6 goes up during acute exercise, and it is helpful. And then there are other chemicals. They interact with so many different cells in the body, and they are beneficial. And finally, we have a study which was presented at ASCO 2025. It is a study where they took stage 2 and stage 3 colon cancer patients, and after their regular treatment, such as chemotherapy after surgery, they randomized them to just regular activity and some health education, versus half of the patients were randomized through structured exercise program for 3 years. And structured exercise program was not that difficult. It was basically walking 150 minutes every week, and also twice a week they had sessions on stretching exercises. There was a 7% progression-free survival and overall survival benefit just with adding exercise. And there was a discussant at ASCO last year, and then they compared with many different drugs. Some of them are $20 billion worth a year drugs, and they had 5 to 7% added advantage. So exercise by itself can give you that, but the criticism to this study was that it took them about 12 years to enroll, because I guess not many people were motivated to do exercise. They all want pill or any intravenous infusion, and that was the criticism to the study. But this was the first positive study. There are some studies going on in breast cancer. There are some studies going on in prostate cancer, and this is, I think, if we adhere to this healthy triad, we can definitely prevent diseases and also help those patients who already have cancer. And I've seen it in several of my patients. I send them to physical therapy and some dedicated exercises depending on how they can to their, I guess, tolerability, and they are doing much better functionally also. So this is something which we should keep in mind. Nutrition is the third component which I'm going to talk about. So this is again from epidemiological and observational studies. There's increased risk of several cancers, 14 of them, just being overweight or being obese. Inflammation caused by excess body weight causes these problems, and these are some of the low fiber intake is definitely associated with this. And this is a study which was published about now a year and a half ago. This is from MSKCC, nutrivention study in patients with smoldering myeloma or monoclonal gammopathy. I'll explain what that is. We all have heard about multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma is a cancer of the bone marrow plasma cells, and there are precursor conditions to that, such as smoldering myeloma and monoclonal gammopathy. Those patients are monitored, some of them for decades, and some of almost 70% of those patients never need treatment for a period of almost 30 years. We just monitor them. So they took those patients, and I have enrolled several patients on these studies. They took those patients and gave them 12 weeks of high fiber diet, plant-based high fiber diet. They did not tell them to restrict their calories. So patients were given just 12 weeks of plant-based diet. With that, they saw that it was feasible and safe. They saw so many different changes for the better in the microbiome. There was a diversity, and also there was increase in butyrate as well as short fatty acids, and they are the helpful chemicals for us to live longer and live healthier. And out of those first 20 patients, 18 of them stayed stable. In 2 of those patients where the we call the protein or immunoglobulin was going up, after 12 weeks of intervention, it flattened. So that was encouraging. And they did some mice studies in Europe to sort of see the mechanism, and they were able to see similar changes in mice, and also the mice lived longer with this type of intervention. So it was quite interesting. They are doing the actually they are enrolling much higher number of patients. I think they are going to finish the study within 3 months, and we are hoping to see the results within next 2 years or so. So just with 12 weeks of nutrition, that's the message. Plant-based and fiber-rich diet can make a difference. And you don't have to wait for years. You just have to do it for 6 to 12 weeks, and that can make a difference. Patients or people start feeling better. I've done actually spoken to several of my patients, and they are doing it. They feel so much better. And many of you know me for a number of decades. I was so inflamed all the time, and for last 2 years I've been doing all these interventions, and I have lost about 15 pounds and feel much better. And it's the fat weight you lose, not the muscle weight, if you keep doing exercise. And we are going to talk about in a few seconds about the GLP-1 agonists, how they work, and what that is doing to the patients. And so this was a study, nutritional intervention in prostate cancer. So now prostate cancer is very common. We all know that in fact cancer is very common. 1 in 3 individuals in North America will develop cancer. We think that we all have cancer cells, but not everyone develops cancer. Why does that happen? Because we have DNA repair pathways, we have immune system killing those cancer cells or a few cancer cells here and there, and that protects us. But it's only when these things are deranged that cancer develops. So in patients, we think that prostate cancer is so common that almost everyone, if we live up to 100, everyone in North America will develop prostate cancer, will have some cancer cells in the prostate. So there are several patients with low risk prostate cancer who do not need any treatment. So they took, investigators took 220 such patients who had prostate cancer documented with biopsy, but they were low risk. So they were given half of, or actually about 1/4 of them were given 9 chemicals, and 1/4 of them were given about 6 chemicals, and I'll show you what those chemicals are. And half of them were just monitored without any intervention. And this is what they did. They took pomegranate extract, cranberry extract, green tea, broccoli extract, ginger extract, and turmeric. And about 1/4 of the patients also got lactobacillus, inulin, and vitamin D. So what they were able to show was that one of the things was that out of 100 people who did not get any intervention, 8 of them progressed and needed treatment. On the other hand, in the other half, out of which some got 6, some got 9, only 1 progressed and needed treatment. And they saw that there was decrease in the PSA progression in about 28% of the patients who received 6 chemicals, 42% in those who received 9 chemicals. So just with dietary intervention, they were able to show this benefit. Again, very early, but these are things which are happening in cancer patients, which is very encouraging. We all talk about calorie restriction, and there are many different ways of calorie restriction, but this is one of the only methods, or one of the rare methods, that has shown longevity in mice, as well as in, I think they have done studies in dogs, and the human studies are ongoing. So hopefully we'll see that this is going to be another way to prevent disease and live healthier and longer. In general, eating less and less often, but eating healthier is the theme. Plant-favored diets are preferable because it seems like animal fat has some of the carcinogens, so that's why we don't prefer, or we don't tell patients to eat red meat or well-cooked meat of any kind, because well-cooked meat has more sort of change of the chemical structure towards carcinogens. Plant-favored does not mean it's a vegetarian or vegan. There is room for some fish, seafood, skinless chicken, eggs, those are allowed. And if there are no allergies to any food, we do recommend, or at least some of the investigators are recommending, about 30 to 40 different kinds of fresh vegetables, whole foods, seeds and nuts, lentils, legumes, and other plant-based, seeds and nuts. 1 apple a day, which we used to hear for a long time, does not do much. So you need a variety. No, you should eat apple, but with 30 other things. Organic, if you can find real organic, not just you pay for organic and get contaminated. And this type of variety of food gives us our microbiome a diversity, and that's what our bodies need. And there's a fasting mimicking diet, because Dr. Walter Longo, who has been studying it for 25 years, he had such a big resistance when he proposed that we want to make cancer patients fast during and after their chemotherapy. So no one wanted to do that. No oncologists agreed to that. So he came up with the fasting mimicking diet, which means that in first 5 days, or here it was 3 days before the chemotherapy, patients get only, say, 600 to 800 calories diet, and it's a high fat and high protein diet, low in carbs. And after that, they go back to their regular 1600 calorie diet for the rest of the cycle in 3-week cycles. And what they have been able to show is that there are some beneficial effects you can see on the right side. And they also did some study, it's a direct trial, where they saw that there was a much higher, in neoadjuvant setting, in breast cancer patients, there was a much higher cell kill, cancer cell kill, with this type of intervention. And they were able to show that in randomized fashion. So that was pretty encouraging as well. Now they are doing direct confirmation trial in breast cancer patients. Coming to the healthy plate, which we talk about, Mediterranean diet is one of the prototypes, but as compared to fasting mimicking diet, it has sort of fallen back. But in general, on the right hand side, if you see here, this area on the right side, so out of the plate, about 35% should be fresh vegetables, about 15% fresh fruit, whole foods, and 25% whole grains, and 25% healthy protein. Out of the oils, healthy oils, olive oil is considered the gold standard because olive oil has some of the chemicals which they are now studying for longevity also. It also is present in olive oil, olive leaf extract. So that is also something becoming very hot. And avoidance of ultra processed food, avoidance of refined sugars, avoidance of red meat, avoidance of smoking, and avoidance of too much alcohol, and drink lots of fluids, about 2.5 to 3 liters of fluid. And this is what we should avoid or minimize. Again, these were the feast foods because these used to be served only on occasions. Unfortunately, for last 30 years or so, we have been consuming them on a regular and everyday basis many times. And that's what has been causing the chronic low-grade inflammation to some extent. So if we can avoid or minimize and use them only at feast, then we can make a difference. So bottom line is that we are what we eat, digest, and absorb. Nutrition is very important. We are what we do. Staying active and also having a purposeful life is very, very important. We are what we think. Mind is very, very powerful. Staying be positive is good and is very, very, I think, helpful. We are whom we interact with. Our cells interact with our environment. Social genomics has been telling us that there is interaction between, if you don't interact with anyone, loneliness, that causes severe chronic stress and also the damage to our cells. So if you have a good interactive environment, that is very healthy. And this is a vicious cycle on the left side, which means it starts with sometimes chronic stress. And those people don't want to, they are not motivated to do any exercise and they eat unhealthy. So it basically puts them into vicious cycle. If we can somehow change it to a virtuous cycle, which means mindfulness, we can have a good night's sleep, we always get encouraged, maybe we should do more exercise and eat healthy. So we can change that. So this is for supplements, supplement lovers. Supplements are imperfect. The reason is, we talked about that we need about 40 to 50 different chemicals from different sources. So if you want to take these chemicals, one multivitamin a day is has been shown to be beneficial, but if you want to compensate for each and every chemical, you'll have to have 50 or 60 chemicals, and it's not practically viable. You can't, you will bankrupt yourself, and it's not a good idea. So ultimately, it's a calorie balance when we talk about exercise and nutrition. Everyone loves bhaturas, everyone loves samosas, and French fries, and burgers. So you just have to then balance it, just like Dr. Kalra, she's speaking up already. So if you eat next slide, actually, let me show you. So just 2 baturas, you have to do brisk walking for 75 to 90 minutes. And if you go to the gym, there are other, so just 2 slices of plain pizza, you have to do 90 to 105 minutes worth of brisk walking after that to burn those calories. And these are some of the helpful pearls. Eat less often, eat a variety of healthy whole foods, limit the number of calories, get your calories from healthier food, resort to fasting if you can, drink enough fluids with electrolytes, avoid or minimize ultra-processed food, refined sugars, red meat, smoking, alcohol, snacking, binge eating. So there are people I know, they do fasting regularly, but after they break their fast, they eat so much unhealthy 5,000 calorie worth of meal. That's not helpful, because you basically negate all the positive effects of the fasting. These are GLP-1 medications. They have been shown to be beneficial in a subset of patients. It's very good news for those who cannot lose weight otherwise. There is some data, again, presented at ASCO last year and this year, that we can decrease the chances of 7 cancers with GLP-1 or like medications. But we have to pay attention to the weight loss with GLP-1 agonists. If we don't do exercise, we lose muscle mass. So we must tell these patients to go for exercise so that they build their muscle. They lose their fat, but we don't want people to lose their muscle. And there are other problems with it. Quality of life for some people is so bad that they want to go off these medications within a month or within a few weeks. But main message is that we should try to tell them to stay. So this is a newer way of walking the dog. This is very unhealthy. Yeah. So on the left-hand side, you can see that healthy choice for a young person is to take the stairs unless they have to go to the 30th floor. But elevator is convenient, but this is not considered the good way. So socialization is very important, as we talked about, that we need to stimulate our brain in the right way. But there can be unhealthy socialization or healthy socialization. Unhealthy is when people are sitting in the room watching TV most of hours and eating unhealthy food. And on the other hand, those people who want to do healthy triad, they are on the right side. And this is unhealthy Indian socialization. You can see all the good stuff on the everything that is tasty is most likely not good for you. So unfortunately, tasty stuff is addicting. It gives us a dopamine release and pleasant feelings, but it's not good for health, unfortunately. And this is what we have forgotten, that after a party, we should be dancing, we should be doing bhangra for about, say, another 2 hours or so that we can burn those calories. And exercise with family and friends. These are some of the other things which we have forgotten. And there are other exercise such as playing golf is a very good exercise, unless you are taking cart from one place to the other. And then playing pickleball, swimming. For those people who cannot walk that much, they can go in the pool because of their arthritis and stuff, and they can still get the benefit. And then swimming on the right side. Home exercises, these are some of the exercises you can do at home. You don't have to go to the gym, but for gym lovers, we have exercise for them too. So I want to end here, and thanks for not drinking alcohol, not smoking, not eating refined sugars and ultra-processed food, and staying physically active and stress-free.
So most of the data that you presented is on Western countries, Western diets. For them, plant-based diet is basically a luxury. They cannot even think about food without having meat in it, meat or fish or something. Are there any studies with our South Asian context, Indian context, that show that, because a lot of Indians are vegetarians and yet we see a rise in cancers in Indian patients.
So I have slides if you want. I can show you. Unhealthy vegetarian food is again some of that. That if you are eating fried food and ultra processed food on a regular daily basis, that's unhealthy. You don't need red meat to do the damage. Same thing with the vegans, and they can be eating so much ultra processed and refined sugars that that defeats the whole purpose of being vegetarian or vegan. So again, it's a variety of fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and other things that matter rather
So
than
you
just.
mentioned whether that has made a difference, and if so, how?
So there are some studies showing that they have been people are able to reduce their weights, and there are some there was some initial hint presented at ASCO last year that they may be able to decrease 7 different cancers related to being obese. Side effects are actually muscle loss, that is bad, and also feeling. See, how they work is they basically they do not allow you to eat more. So if you can somehow control yourself and eat less, that gives you the same benefit. But nausea, feeling fatigued and tired, and so we see patients in our office. They are on it. They don't tell us. And after doing the whole workup for nausea and other things, they tell us, "Oh, I've been on GLP agonist. So why didn't you tell us that before?" That explains the symptoms. But they think that if they tell that to the gastroenterologist or us, we might take them off. So they are afraid. They want to keep that medication in them. Yes.
Dr. Wasil, it was, as mentioned, your presentation and therefore your book is a godsend to us. I think that what you have shown is how to behave or change your behavior once there is a diagnosis of cancer of any type. But what I would like you to do is to write a next book about people without any cancer who have been followed in a randomized manner for a long time with the triad of stress, nutrition, and exercise, followed for 10 years and not followed for 10 years, and see the current rates of cancer and other disease. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Rai. As we all know that that will be the ideal situation, but we need a lot of funding, and there's no drug company that will sponsor such a trial because their income is already going to go down. And prove that Healthy Triad is going to prevent diabetes. So it will be hard, but I think there are slow and steady progress being made. There is some funding being available at major institutions, and they are studying it, and I'll keep you updated and keep everyone updated.
I want to introduce myself. Everybody knows me, Jack Kalra. We are colleagues in crime in oncology and hematology. Dr. Wasil, I cannot thank you enough for this book. Love the pictures, I'm sure everybody agrees. Please clap one more time for him. But I do have several comments. I know you want us to eat healthy. We are people brought up in this country after having bad habits. It's not easy to change habits. Look at what the chola bhature we ate. Wow. They put out the naan were there. but it was excellent food. We love the pakoras, we love the how to get rid of that habit. Exercise is important, meditation, laughing. You forgot about laughing with all the people, reduce the stress.
So Dr. Kalra goes to the gym and exercises 4 hours at a time, several times. So you can afford it. So I was telling Gary ji just a few days ago that we should have a gym just next to every restaurant. Every restaurant should have a gym so that people can enjoy their meal and then go for a good exercise plan. And the same thing I showed, after a party, you should be dancing, you should be doing bhangra, you should burn those calories. So it's a balance between what we eat, and for those who cannot go to the gym, who cannot do exercise, for them eating less and fasting is better.
Hello, my name is Ravinder Bhatia. I myself have ulcerative colitis last 35 years, where I was told I have a 6 month to live. Either I have the surgery or not. Now my husband has a cancer behind his appendix. He is getting the chemo, but I tell you that what Dr. Vasul is doing, helping time to time to this is hitting in our backyard. This is much needed. We all should support healthy environment, and we should do more of these kind of events, health awareness. And I really thank you, Dr. Tarun Wasil, taking care of one of my kid, Amit Malik. He need a bone marrow. So he's really a Jammu person. Thank you.
Thanks. So thanks a lot for the kind words, and best wishes to your husband. Hopefully he'll be better soon. But I think again we can do chemotherapy plus some healthy triad related things, and that can probably improve the outcome of your husband as well. Uh,
Dr. Wasil, thank you very much for the very informative. I do have a question. My question is related to the genetics and the cancer. I don't know whether you touched on it or the book has anything related to genetics and the cancers, because many family when they had in that gene cancer, and we have seen that it is obviously whether the king gets the cancer. Very good
So we
question.
know that genetics plays a role in about 10 to 15% of the cancer cases, and but genes do not decide everything. There are some data, again, it's a hint, it's not a confirmatory data, which Dr. Rai alluded to that, but expression of the genes can be controlled by us and the lifestyle. So I have several patients, I guide them that they have some bad gene, Lynch syndrome or something like that, BRCA for breast cancer. We should still resort to a healthy triad. That is the warning sign. If you have a gene abnormality, you don't want to get cancer. Genes will not decide your fate. That's well known. We need to control the expression of those genes. So a healthy triad can help to get us there. It's not a guarantee, but it can.
Like following all these diet plus not having the vitamins, like it's still like some people get repeat cancers, right? So is there right now all the tests are being like reactive, not proactive, because you find the cancer after you get it at first stage or second stage. And I've heard about some tests like MRD, LCD. So in the current technology, how efficient they are to find out like even before coming to that stage, or is there any research in that area?
So there is a lot of research. Thanks. Her question was that if is there anything proactively that can be done to, I guess, detect the cancer or prevent the cancer before it happens. So I think a healthy triad can decrease about 40% of the cancers, but rest 60%. We have to just rely on early detection as much as possible and treatment. But so far as your question on any cell-free DNA or other tests, We are at a very, very preliminary stage in those. There is one test which is gallery test we have been offering to our patients. It's FDA approved but not covered by any insurance. And people have to pay about $900 out of pocket. And that can help us in some cases, not most cases. So I think there's a lot more research going on, and it takes several years before we see the benefit in the public. So we will have to wait for that.
What is the MRD test?
MRD is for those who already have a diagnosis of cancer, measurable residual disease. We are using it more and more in many different cancers, multiple myeloma, some CLL. People have started using it, and it's approved for colon cancer, but we are using it in breast cancer patients as well. Bladder cancer is another one, but I think it will be in almost every cancer. But they are doing studies, slow by slow they are going to get approval. So it's a measurable residual disease when you can detect a small amount of cell-free DNA in the blood of a patient.
Dr. Wasil, I thank you for the lecture. Now I'm calling him Tarun. I want to really thank you for bringing Dr. Rai to our auditorium and this lectures. I can't thank you enough. Dr. Rai is our Chief of Hematology Oncology at Local and Jewish Hospital, now called Northgate Health System. He was the pioneer in a disease called CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is so curable, long term. May not be the treatment in the beginning, but there are so many treatments available because of his one step, Indian National Scientific Chronic CLL, Rai staging, very, very famous. This disease staging depends on him. Stage 0, stage 1, 2, 3. Dr. Wasil, say something. Thank you.
So that was before we had the molecular, and it still holds true. Not every CLL patient needs treatment, and some patients can go 15 years before they need treatment. About 1/3 may never need treatment. And Dr. Rai's staging system helped us in monitoring those patients. If patients had early stage disease, we could easily tell the patient that go and sleep well, you do not need treatment. So that was Dr. Rai in 1971, he did the staging. And I'm so honored that whenever I just mention it to him, he says that I want to come to your event. And it's a very, very humbling experience, and I'm being honored with his presence here. Thanks, Dr. Rai.
Let me remind you, we are here for the triad. The triad, the book, and benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wasil, for this amazing presentation and the amazing contribution to our society. And I'm sure you had full cooperation from, people forget the spouses, right? Seema and Neha.
I'm not done yet.
He's supposed to be.
Several people.
Yeah. So I have a little digression, if I may. Please indulge me for a few seconds. We live in this society. We live in this country. This country has given us a lot. It has given a better life for us, for the first generation immigrants who came from India or wherever. It's what have we given back to the country? We have given our blood and soul to this country. We also need to participate in the political activities in the general society. One of us, we are fortunate that one of us has been given an opportunity to represent State Senate District 2 in Albany. We have a candidate, a fantastic candidate, Mr. Harjot Singh. So for those of you who are in State Senate District 2, please recognize him, please come and shake his hands. He's a fantastic individual. He's an attorney by trade, not that kind of attorney that we all doctors hate. For any immigration or real estate issues, that's what he helps solve. He's got an office in Hicksville and in Richmond Hill. And I've come to know him as a very sincere, very honest, very humble individual. So I'm sure that people will love to join me in making sure that he gets the win. Thank you.
Thank you. I will have him say a couple of words, but I'm not done. Please be seated. I will have Harjot say a few words.
First of all, congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wasil, Mr. Gary Sikka, API, whole APS team for putting this thing together. We really appreciate your contribution to the society, to the community. Thank you so much for that. My name is Harjot Singh. I am running for New York State Senate District 2, which is Huntington and Smithtown. We have been helping other candidates. I think it's time for us to take a seat on the table. So I am looking forward to this book. We need to do this together, and we'll reach out. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.
Thanks. And I want to thank a number of other people. Obviously, Seema, everyone knows that without her, I would not have been able to do anything in my life. And Neha, my daughter, is here. Havish, he's one of the high school kids who is doing observership in my office, and he is here. And I just want to thank Jasveer Singh ji. He came despite all his busy schedule. I had asked him just yesterday. And I want to invite Mr. Avdesh Sinha. If you can come. He is the first one, actually. As soon as he heard that the book is out, he gave his check for $3,000. He said, I will buy 100 books and distribute to my friends. Mr. Avdesh Sinha. Thanks a lot.
I'm really fortunate to have someone like Dr. Wasil and call him my friend, my mentor, and my doctor. I would like to congratulate him to write this book. I have read the book and it's extremely informative. If we can follow even 10-15% of what the book says, we will be in a better place. Again, thank you and bless you.
I think my name is Nitish Gupta. Most of you probably know me. I want to thank Tarun, Dr. Wasil, on behalf of Narjidat Memorial Cancer Foundation. He's been a board of trustees over there for a long time. I've been a past president and a board of trustees. We want to show our gratitude to him for serving our community in the field of oncology, hematology, as well as the community. Really thank him on behalf of AAPI QLI, where I'm involved, AIA, where I'm involved, as a person, myself individually, for taking care of all of us. Thank you, Dr.